Hello, technology world. This is your host, Gabriel Smith, and I am here today to do a webcast on Linux Volume Manager on the Red Hat operating system. The scope of this webcast is to cover the Linux Volume Manager on the Red Hat operating system. It's going to be limited to, of course, Linux distributions of Red Hat such as CentOS, Fedora, with the Linux kernel above 2.6. The audience is anyone who wants to learn Linux Volume Manager. Make sure you watch this in full screen mode and be sure to subscribe to my channel. Now, it's going to be a two-part series. And this part is going to be basically a bunch of slides, and I'm going to go over a few concepts and commands. And the second part is going to be a command line walkthrough. So with that said, we have a few objectives with this. We want to, one, learn volume logic. Number two, we want to learn how to create physical volumes. Number three, we want to learn how to create volume groups. Number four, we want to learn how to create logical volumes. Number five, we want to learn how to make an EXT4 file system. And number six, we want to learn how to undo all the stuff that we've learned. Volume logic works like this. Real disk make physical volumes. Physical volumes make volume groups. Volume groups make logical volumes. We're basically taking a physical disk. We have the option of cutting it up in multiple slices, and that physical disk is going to make physical volumes. Or we have the option of taking that entire physical disk and making one physical volume. Once we have a physical volume, we can make logical volume groups, also known as volume groups. Once we have a logical volume group or volume group, we can make logical volumes, and then from that point on, we can make a file system onto those logical volumes. Okay, so now let's start looking at some commands. First off, you would want to see where you're at. You want to see what you're working with. The best way to do that is to do a df-h, and once you do a df-h, you'll be able to see all of your partitions that are being used and what the space usage is. Now, the next thing you want to do is that you can do a fdisk-l to list all the disks on your system. Please take note of the disks that I have on my system. It's SDB, SDC, SDD, and SDE. We have 4 disks. If you want to get information about any particular disk, you can do a HD parm -I and then give the full path of the disk. Alright, so creating physical volumes. We're actually going to do a dry walkthrough on creating all this stuff. Basically, anytime you create something, this command is always going to have the word create in it. It's really simple. So to create the physical volumes, we would type PV for physical volume create, and then we provide the disk name. Now we're going to do something with one of the disks, and we're going to do something very special. But before we do that, we're going to talk about the old school technique for partitioning disks. Basically, back in the day when you were working with MS-DOS, you had to have a primary partition, at least one. And that primary partition had to be at least 50 megabytes. Once you've done that, you can create an extended partition, and with that extended partition, you can have multiple logical partitions. So, with that said, we're going to do that with one of our disks, but before we do that, we're going to do an F disk, and the disk that we're going to do it is SDE. At that point, we're going to get into the F disk menu, and we're going to select P for print. We're going to create a primary partition. We're going to create an extended partition, and then we're going to create logical volumes in that extended partition. At that point, we have slices of which we can use to create more physical volumes. So the command again is going to be physical volume create, and then you're basically going to use the partitions, the slices that you've created. creating volume groups. Okay, so now basically we're going to create 3 volume groups. One is going to be called web, one is going to be called data, and one is going to be called app. The command for that is going to be volume group create, of course, and then you list the name of the volume group that you'd like to create. So volume group create volume underscore group underscore web is one of the groups that we're going to create. We could call it anything. And then you basically list the disks that are involved in that volume group. So in the web volume group, we have 2 disks involved, SDB and SDC. And we're going to do that for all of them. And then if we want to check and see what we have, we'll do a volume group display. If for whatever reason we want to remove one of those groups, we can do a volume group reduce, and we can basically list the volume group that we're going to reduce, and we list the disk that we're removing. If we want to put a disk into that group, we would do volume group extend, list the name of the volume group, and then list the path of the disk that we're going to extend, put back into the group. And we can do a volume group scan as well. Some of these are kind of duplicates because they're my working notes as well. Okay, so I'm just going to speed through this. Okay, so now we have the volume group created. From the volume groups, we're going to create logical volumes, and then from there we create file systems. So creating logical volumes, of course it has the word create in it. It's simple. You just give the full path. It's going to be logical volume create minus n logical volume web 1. You give the size, and you basically, we're going to create one 4 gigabytes, and then we're going to give it a name. So it's going to be logical volume, it's going to be volume group, it's going to be volume underscore group underscore web. And at that point, I think I created 2 of them. So there's a web 1 and a web 2 logic volume group. If you want to see all the logical volumes that you have, you can do a logic volume display. And I'm saying the word, yeah, whatever. Okay, so now, actually, I think I may have put a typo in here. I have put, yeah, okay, so let me recap this. So basically, when you create a logical volume, you're going to use logical volume create, no surprise there, minus n, and then you're going to provide the name of the logical volume that you want to create, and then you're going to do hyphen size and put the space that you want to use, and then you're going to list the logical group that you're going to use to create this logical volume. So I've created 2. I've created a logical volume web 1 and a logical volume web 2. And if you want to see what you have, you do a logical volume display. Okay, and of course, if we wanted to remove one of those logical volumes, you would type logical volume remove, and then you would provide the full path name of that logical volume. So if we wanted to remove logical volume web 1, we put the full path name in. Now, and the full path being dev volume underscore group underscore web / logical underscore volume underscore web 1. Okay, so if we wanted to extend one, we would basically use logical volume extend minus L, and minus L is just an option, and then you put plus and then the amount of space you want to extend it by. And if you wanted to reduce it, it would be pretty much just the opposite. Okay, at this point we're ready to make a file system. It's simple. Make fs.ext4, and then you use the full path name of the logical volume. You make the directory, and then you mount it. DFH to see where you are. And if you want to unmount it for the purposes of removing it, you unmount, full path name, and you do a logical volume remove and provide the full path name. And at this point, you simply undo everything that you've done just by using the word remove with the prefixes that you've used before. Okay, this is the conclusion of this presentation. I know it's a bit much. It's really vague. There's just so much material, and I really didn't want to make 5 videos. So, thank you for watching this, and I hope to see you watch the second video.